Okay guys, so in this video we're going to be covering what? We're going to be covering our cash and cash and cash equivalents, right? Meaning the net change, right? Meaning the net change in what? Cash and cash equivalent, right? So we're having our what? We're having our opening balance here, and we have our what? Our closing balance. So guys, with this one guys, net so uh the net change plus the opening balance must give us what? The closing balance, right? Now you must always find yourself in that situation. The net change plus the opening balance must give you what? The closing balance, right? Now let me interpret this guys. As we all know, our bank increases on the debit side, right? It increases on the debit side and it decreases on the credit side. So if you ever see yourself in a situation whereby you have a cash and cash equivalent of maybe 20,000 here, it means that our bank is increasing by how much? 20,000. Like we have a positive bank balance of 20,000. Maybe let's say this is 2021 and then this is 2022, and then our cash and cash equivalent maybe at 2022 we had a credit balance of maybe 35,000, meaning that we had a negative balance of 35,000. And same along that year we had a bank overdraft, meaning an overdraft reduces our what? Our bank balance. Let's say a bank overdraft of 3,000 and we also had a bank overdraft of 2,000 here. Then now how are you going to interpret this information here? You're gonna come here and say this is information at the beginning and this is information at the end of the year. So at the beginning of the year we had a positive balance of 20,000. Now I'm gonna subtract my what? Cash and bank overdraft of 3k, right? Now I'm left with what? Positive 17,000 at the beginning of the year, right? And then what about my closing balance? So my closing balance, I had a negative balance of 35,000 minus bank overdraft of 2,000. Already my bank balance at the end is gonna be negative 37,000, right? No, like I said, this information plus this information has to give me what? The balance at the end of the year. So I'm going to say x plus 17,000 has to give me what? Negative 37,000, right? So I'm going to say x is equals to what? Negative 37,000 minus 17,000. So I'm getting my x value as being what? 37,000 plus, so I'm having negative 54,000. So the 54,000 was the change. 54,000 was the change in cash and cash equivalent. So guys, please don't let this confuse you. Finding the opening balance is easy, finding the closing balance is easy, but will you be able to get your net cash and cash equivalent correct? Now, in order for you to get it correct, just say this plus this has to give you this, then you solve for x, right? Can never get complicated than that, right? So now I'm going to do a bit of a question there so that you can see things properly. Let me erase here. So here we go. Let me see here. It's explaining cash and cash equivalent. Let's see. Okay, let's just stop here, right? Which is required, right? So we have our cash and cash equivalent, right? Which is 2,000 and also 28,900, right? We'll assume for the fact that it's under current asset, it means that we have a what? It's an asset, right? For it increase, right? So we have 2,000 and 28,900, right? So therefore those are cash and cash equivalent so far. So I'm going to say, okay, for this, when is the beginning of the year? The beginning of the year is here, right? So I'm gonna say my opening balance will be 28,900. Now let me check, is there any bank overdraft during that year? No, so there's no bank overdraft. So I'm gonna say 28,900, which is cash inflow. And I'm gonna say my closing balance, which is I'm having an inflow of 2,000, then a bank overdraft of negative 18,700. So 2,000 minus 18,700, I'm having an outflow of what? 16,700, right? Don't forget the rule. You always say what? Um, you always say what? Uh, Net change in cash and cash equivalent is what? Net cash and cash equivalent plus the opening balance has to give you what? The closing balance. So I'll say net cash and cash equivalent, which is X, plus 28,700, no, 28,900 equals to negative 16,700. So therefore X is equals to negative 16,700 minus 28,900, right? So therefore my X value is what? Negative 16,700 minus 28,900. So therefore my change in cash and cash equivalent is negative 45,600. Here, negative 45,600. I'm gonna put it here as my what? Cash and cash equivalent. So I'm gonna put it as a bracket. That's how you calculate your what? Cash and cash equivalent, right? So guys, I'm going to do a question paper. I'm gonna release a video tomorrow doing a question paper of what? Cash flow, wrapping up cash flow. I'm closing off cash flow, right? I'm gonna do a question paper of cash flow, so make sure you watch the video. If you have any question, comment, tell me your problems, like which chapters you want me to do, or what is complicating you, like what do you find difficult in this accounting thing. Otherwise, I'm gonna break accounting into pieces for you. So guys, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. Thank you guys.